Good afternoon. My name is Felix Angel Popescu. I am an assistant professor at Agora University of Oradea, Romania, and I have a PhD in economic sciences. I work also as a PhD fellow at Public University of Oradea in Romania, and this video will be about creative economies, how they shape the regional development and how they shape the overall economy, and I hope you enjoy it. It is part of this project, and it aims to enrich knowledge in the field of creativity. Well, we couldn't start thinking of creative economy without knowing some of the creative industries, because they are among us. We use them, we interact with them maybe every day, or if not on a daily basis, maybe every week. I can point out some creative industries that are all over the world. They are in Europe, they are in Australia, they are in South Africa, they are in Asia, or South America or North America is the same. I'm sure you all are familiarized with the advertising sector, the architecture sector, the art sector, the crafts, design, fashion, video, film, photography, the field of interactive games. I'm sure you all play video games, music, performance arts, publishing and printing, computer service and software. I think everybody has at home a computer, a personal laptop or a computer, television and radio, then research and design, and maybe the most interesting one, the one that everybody of you seeks when you go to a foreign country, is the culinary sector, food, beverages. Okay. So let's start by getting acquainted with the concept of creative economy. This concept was first mentioned in the report of the UK government in 1998, and they shaped the idea of creative economy as being those industries that originate in their own creation, in their own skills, talents, and have the potential to create wealth and jobs by generating and exploiting intellectual property. Now, before when the communist era was installed, there wasn't so many talks about the creative industries, because every part of the economy, being industry or being an agricultural, had the tendency to be subsidized by the state, to be owned by the state. And it was only after the 90s, after the fall of the communist regime, that these creative industries tended to become more independent, to have to shape a private sector economy. What is special about this creative industry is that they generate income, jobs, they generate imports and exports of materials, they promote social inclusion and cultural development, they provide human resources development, and it's not like any other particular side of the economy, because it's a typical one. It involves a mix of economic, social and cultural issues. And for many artists and for many young people or older people who got skills and talent, it is a feasible development option, and at the end it's become a way of life. Okay, we talked about these kind of people, so they could form the creative class. These class include people with a high degree of creativity. In most cases, we can say that they act differently from the less creative people. They tend to find solution to difficult situation easily, and they tend to see challenges rather as opportunities, not as threats. So their work tends to become less stressful. Most of them see their work as a part of their everyday life. So what this creative economy do is that it creates a transition from an economy based on a physical inputs, land, capital, and labor, to an economy based on intellectual inputs. So we can say that it needs creativity and human intellect, not only the classical economic factors like land, capital, and labor. And this tendency had also an impact in the economic literature, because this creative economy was also described in two terms. Namely, it developed two processes, like the economization of culture and the culturalization of the economy. What means this? Well, the first term, the economization of culture, means that artists and the creative class in general, they need to exploit their artistic creations in order to make it on a daily living. They have to earn money from their artistic creations. Then the culturalization of economy is another thing, because it involves the industrialization of artistic creations. So in order to innovate, you have, like being an enterprise, you have some artists employed, but some way you have to industrialize the economic process, because an artistic work usually takes a lot of time. Now, when we talk about creative economy, we talk about creative needs, and the Maslow pyramid, I know maybe a lot of people is familiarized with it, can bring up these creative needs in various stages of these personal needs. For example, we can say that if we look at the love and belonging needs, the friendship, the intimacy, the sense of connection, then we can say that maybe watching a movie at the cinema can be included in these needs. If we personally want to develop a music part or a music piece, or we want to become actors to shoot in a movie, or maybe we feel that we need to expose our paintings, our artistic creations in a creative way, then these creative needs go further up the pyramid, and we can say that it can be included in the self-actualization need, where is this desire to become the most the one can be. Okay. Now, as I thought before, the emergence of this creative economy had a positive impact on producers and consumers, but the new trend is a two-sided currency, because while some will gain, others will have disadvantages. It is easy enough to analyze the COVID-19 pandemic that is currently undergoing nowadays, and we can easily conclude that maybe for artists there are lots of disadvantages in selling their work, because almost everything went from a face-to-face basis to a digital basis. And although the creative economy in normal life condition, in day-to-day condition, not in nowadays conditions, would have the tendency to create a way to grow and prosper for artists, it also creates inequality. In the economic literature, there is this term of social gaps, and we can easily deduce that from an early stage of our development, from an early age, if we do not have maybe the financial resources needed to exploit our creative potential, if we do not have the instruments, maybe if we do not have the right conditions, some of us will earn more, will go further and exploit their talent if they got all the necessary resources, and some of us will not, will keep having our talent only as a hobby and not as a way of life. You know, in maybe if you got a musical talent, musical instruments could be expensive. If we want to, when you grow older and you want to take a faculty of arts in maybe in theater, in music production, in video editing, and so on, these are very interesting fields to take as a student, but maybe the faculty is not in your town, maybe it's miles away, maybe you have to go to another country, and you sometimes have a financial support, you sometimes don't have a financial support, and this idea weighs a lot in your next future career as an occupied person in the creative industry sector. What is certain about these members of the creative class, besides these social gaps that I mentioned earlier, is that they are more attracted to their work in terms of the nature of their work and their work improvement, and the improvement of their working environment, and the need to take part at this artistic community, without taking in consideration the financial aspect, which for them is has a complementary role. And sometimes this reality is good if you work as a self-employed person, but if you are employed in a creative artistic agency or a firm or something like that, this reality could also create a trap, because your employer has the tendency to take you into an emotional trap, because you are being more satisfied with your work rather than your salary, and they can keep valuable employees without resorting to pay raises in salaries or giving other material benefits. So as a future entrepreneur in the creative industry, you must take insights that besides appreciating your future employees' artistic work, you also have to motivate in them also in other ways, in financial ways or material ways or other benefits. Because you will have tough times being an entrepreneur in the creative industry. This specific part of the economy is it gives the production of goods that are not of day-to-day utility or functionality. These products or services are characterized by their beauty, by the message it transmits, and the cultural baggage. And as a general fact, these creative products result from a creative activity, and their value is based on creativity. So most of the times we have the tendency not to appreciate artistic work at their real value, because sometimes their prices could be very up, no? Then we have to understand that these creative industries as they give stronger connection between culture and economy, and those who do not understand culture, who have only a financial side of view of how things go in life, can't appreciate the artistic value of products and services at their real basis. Thus, this creative sector is much appreciated because it manifests itself regardless of ethnicity, of race, of gender, and sexual orientation, so that diversity and social inclusion open to different types of people, to different characteristics of the new economic trend and the economic needs. So as an artist or an employer at a creative industry actor, like maybe a small enterprise, you get recognition for your work, rather than if you work in Asia, you work in Africa, you work in America, in Europe, or Australia, or so on. Creative economy, has an international language, so you will never have to complain or to get worried that you will have such discrimination based on gender, sex, and so on. Okay, now we will talk about the factors that shaped the creative economy. They reside in the factors that originate from the classical economy, but some of them are much more important. They are called the 4 T's because every factor begins with an T. There's the technology, the talent, the tolerance, and the territory. So we will analyze each of it. You need technology in creative sector because in this particular field, intellectual property is manifested by numerous patents and author rights, and you need to have and you need to develop the technology in order to create products that can be valuable in money terms, that can be sold, and at the end these creative industry also generate creative technology clusters, associations of different persons, of different small or medium enterprises or small businesses in the field of creative sectors, which can shape the way the technology actually impacts this sector. Then there is the talent. We can conclude that without talent, you are not so lucky in finding work or in finding support in the creative sectors. Talent can be shown from an early age. It evolves with the time frame that you grow in age and you get to graduate high school. Then you have to graduate a faculty, and what is important about talent is that people are involved in activities of exploitation of intellectual capital, and without talent there could not be creative products and creative services. Then there is the tolerance. This expresses the openness of the population towards people of another race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, and so on. And the fourth factor, the territory, it was later added in this list of factors, analyzes the way in which the quality of the settlement and the facilities offered in a certain environment and in a certain city can impact the creative industry in the respective local environment or local city. Then there is the reverse. This factor also analyzes the way the creative sector shapes the city. You know, there are many touristic or cultural cities which are renowned for their resources, not for any other interesting things that you may find in. Coming back to the creative class, what is characteristic about them is that people want more. Creative people want more. They want better. They want diversity according to each other personal requirements. This tendency was noted in the economic literature as rebellious instigation. Like some of the people are very happy with what nature allows them to have. Normal people, yes, and the other one, the creative class, the rebels, they dictate against nature. In other words, economists found a shorter way to describe this. Is like creativity is an act of rebellion. Okay, so what we have learned until now is that the knowledge economy, the classical knowledge economy, is shaped by the creative economy, and it depends on the ability of the workforce to think and act creatively and flexibly, and not only for the creative sector part, but also for the entire economic system. Largely, if we analyze current macroeconomic trends, we can say that the quality of the creative class largely influences the overall macroeconomic performance in in world economy. And why is that? Because democracy has had the tendency to generate the openness to free expression of its own personality, power, and desire to work for any people for any people in the world. And the desire to self-affirm and to have public recognition of the potential they show at work is very important in labor productivity all across the world. So, you know, nowadays most of the countries live by a democratic regime, but there are also, unfortunately, communist countries. Well, if we could analyze the labor productivity through the democratic countries and the communist countries, we could easily understand that there are two ways of having productivity. Either you give people free expression to work and act and express themselves, or you have the other part where you dictate people what to do, how to do, when to do. And yes, this system could also give very good results in an enclosed economy, in a state-controlled and state-owned economy. But because our project includes countries from the European Union and outside European Union, we will always prefer to talk about the openness of the creative economy, and we can easily understand why, because the European Union finances the cultural and the creative sectors, and they have always been seen as a rich facet of everyday life. In the opinion of the European Parliament, creative industries make a meaningful contribution to Europe's social cohesion and diversity, and indeed in the European economy, because creative sectors represent almost 4.2% of the total European Union's GDP and 3.7% of the total EU workforce. Now, because the European Union consists of 27 countries after the retreat of the Great Britain, it is easily to analyze that some countries have a larger potential in attracting workforce in the creative industries. There are countries like Estonia, Luxembourg, Malta, Finland, Slovenia, Sweden, Netherlands, Belgium, Austria, Denmark, and Lithuania, who are above the threshold of the 3.7% of the total employment in the EU. And there are countries like maybe Germany, the Czech Republic, Poland, Latvia, Italy, France, Spain, Cyprus, who are at the threshold of 3.7%, and other less situated countries that are above the threshold, like Hungary, Greece, Ireland, Portugal, Croatia, Slovakia, Bulgaria, and Romania. Their rate of workforce employed in the creative sector is a little bit lower than the normal threshold I have presented. Well, what does European Union to influence this situation? is that it supports the cultural and creative sectors into standalone funding programs, namely the Creative Europe program. The program helps European artists, creators and content to find more opportunities, and these programs rotate by 7-year cycles. So there was the 2007-2013 program, there was the 2014 to 2020 program, and now current days there is the 2021-2027 program. Now, if we analyze the former program, the 2014-2020 period, well, it was a very effective one. It provided over 13,000 grants. It also co-financed trainings for over 16,000 professionals, more than 650 professionals, 650 cultural cooperation projects that involved over 3,700 organizations across Europe. And what this means in cultural and creative products is that it helped in the distribution of over 5,000 movies, the operation of over 1,100 cinemas, and the translation of 3,500 books all over Europe. Based on this success, on the former program success, the current program, the program for 2021-2027 period, has seen its budget increasing by over 50%. And it has the potential to invest in action that reinforce the cultural diversity and respond to the needs and challenges of the cultural and creative sectors. And the tendency is to get more digital, more greener, and more resilient and more inclusive. Why is that? Because nowadays we live in pandemic times. Starting from 3 years ago, the economy has changed, and the creative economy had a lot to suffer. So this program has a different idea than the former program. And why is that? Because the COVID-19 pandemic imposed a lot of measures. There were two types of measures. There were the great lockdown measures, which meant that there was a stop in all the international mobilities. There was a stop in all the non-essential physical production and distribution, and there was at the end there was a stop in the social life. And the social life is based many times on interaction with the creative industries. What happened is that there was generated serious loss of incomes and opportunities for the workers who are actively employed in the creative industries, and well, they had very limited opportunities to show their physical cultural production. There was little opportunities in the distribution of these products, and as a consequence, many businesses in the creative sectors needed to shut down. Then there were the COVID-19 post-lockdown measures, which meant that the shutdown was ended, but there were continuous restrictions in international mobilities, in non-essential activities, and there were imposed social distancing measures. And the creative industry sectors is not so volatile, so its revival to everyday life was not so spontaneous. Maybe like some cinemas or museums or cultural institution have opened to public, but employers in these creative sectors had a continuous struggle about their work, about their future, and about their incomes. Now, the European Union did an impact map of the COVID-19 pandemic on the creative industry sector, and it can be translated that most of the industries that had to be triggered by a face-to-face interaction or face-to-face activity had many things to lose. There were losses in audiences, in clients' accessibility. There were losses in revenues. There were losses in employment, in incomes, both for standard workers and for auxiliary workers. There were losses in business networking, and at the end there was a loss for everybody who wanted to have an early career development in these creative industries. The most affected sectors were the performing arts, music, like live music, the visual arts and crafts, the cultural heritage, the movie industry, the book publishing and press sector,